Thanks for tuning in to another episode of What's Shaking. If you enjoy this content, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more episodes.
It's your boy Yusuf Yogi.
It's Fareed, aka Reedy Reed.
Muhammad Hassan.
This is Naeem, also known as Nye.
What's shaking?
All right, so welcome back. We got the fourth member, Naeem. Welcome, Assalamu alaikum.
Appreciate y'all having me here, bro.
Yes, for sure. Let's get this kicked off, man. This episode, we're gonna just be chatting a little bit about our experience with school, right? We all have a kind of an unorthodox school experience in our younger years. So we're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna just start off with the question, man. And y'all can spitball, whoever wants to jump in. What was y'all first experience like in school as a black Muslim?
I mean, I guess I'll start off. We went to school out here in New Haven. First moved from Pittsburgh, so I was in first grade. That's the first memory that I remember. It's just different, you know. When I went to school, I was the only person besides my brothers that actually had a kufi on. And my clothes were obviously different. We wore the Islamic garments.
So you had like a thobe on? Like
I didn't have a thobe on, but I had like the baggy pants,
homemade joints.
The homemade joints,
okay. Okay.
I mean, I even got pictures. I can even we can throw some pictures on there. I got pictures with with the army fatigue vest and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, to me it wasn't. I don't feel like I felt different, but I can tell that everybody else was just kind of like regularly clothed, and I was,
yeah.
I had my gear on, my Islamic gear on.
Did you feel like people like either had jokes or whatever, or
not at first? The jokes didn't come until I got a little bit older. Like I think when you're in first grade, the jokes are not really there like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like,
I don't know, man. These kids is kind of ruthless. First grade. How old must you been at first grade?
Probably like
6, 7.
I started school early, so I was like 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was 6 when I was in first grade. Yeah.
And y'all was in the same school?
Yeah. We went to Quinnipiac School in New Haven. And so same for me. Our experience was actually together. We started school together here, coming from Pennsylvania. And for me, the difference with my dad was making me wear the kufi. You know, so when I put the kufi on, I knew something was different when I walked into school and nobody else had one on.
Yeah.
So that was the experience, and I was nervous, to be honest, because I was like, what are people gonna think? Do you think I got hair on my head? Like various things like that. And nobody, like you said, nobody really bothered me at first. You know, because it was still new and everything. But once I started to get accustomed to people, then it started.
So you got we gotta go a little bit deeper into that, man. Like you gotta give me some. What were they saying? It was
Well, at that age, like you said, it wasn't really much jokes, but it was. The kufi might come off and it might be monkey in the middle,
you was hopping around. I'm getting pictures in my head. You hopping around and there's a kufi literally flying across the room.
I do remember that. Absolutely. Yeah. So all it took was for one kid to be brave. You could hear him whisper, like, take it off. And you know what time is good. I'm still trying to stare at the class, look at the teacher, like, please don't take it off. Please don't take it off. And all it takes, whoop, that was it. And then, it was a game from there. I'm jumping across the room trying to grab it, and that's how it all started. And that's when I knew at that moment, it was something I was going to probably deal with in school, as long as I wore that, So, and, luckily we were blessed to, have each other. Like I went to school with Muhammad, so it's something I could talk about with him after school. I wasn't alone because it's a lot different if you don't have that, So, so just sharing those experiences and figuring out how we're going to navigate it, was a part of it, and then discussing with our parents. But they were different. They were really into the religion, so they were like, yo, you're going to be fine, And I'm
parenting too. Like back then, they talking about your feelings. Man up.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? It was so different back then. It was just like, yo, you're gonna be fine. That was it, And I'm like, yo, you weren't chasing kufi around school all day, So
I didn't know that. Did you monkey in the middle of you too?
Nah, so I do remember like. I want to say it was monkey in the middle, but I definitely had my kufi snatched. You know what I mean? But the thing was, it was like you get it right back, and I don't remember the jokes because I don't think they were like old enough to come up with like jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
that started more like middle school,
high school.
Yeah.
Let's double back. When did Aladdin come out?
Oh yeah, you're right.
I remember vividly.
Yeah.
I was like in
99 maybe.
No,
90s,
no,
that was like
91,
92.
Yeah, we
This
have
is
to look that up.
Lion King.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
way before
yeah.
Lion
We'll have to
King.
look that up.
So that was like
Came
that
out.
was
Aladdin is
yeah.
where it started. You're
Yeah,
right.
so
Okay.
think about this. So we're calling my dad Abu in Arabic, which is your father.
yeah.
So around the time I'm in kindergarten and Aladdin just dropped. So everyone's like, why are you calling your dad a monkey? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's a microaggression now. But back then, it's like, well,
That's a racial slur.
Right, exactly.
Yo.
Nah, I do remember
Right,
that.
so they
yo.
being very modest about
That's
it.
funny.
It was, if you paid attention, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, no, but see, but you, if you
Suppressed
think about
memories
it,
over here.
Yeah.
if you think about it, so you're a little younger than us. So
Right.
what I'm saying is that when we were in first grade or he was in second grade, I don't
Right.
think the jokes were as quick. Where when you were in,
Right.
I think when we went to Hamden,
Yeah.
that's when
Oh,
you were
yeah.
in elementary school.
No, I was in kindergarten. I started kindergarten at Quinnipiac in New Haven, and Aladdin was out. I remember vividly. Aladdin was out that time. And the Abu jokes were there. And I dressed like Aladdin with the kufi and the baggy pants.
we definitely
So the
did.
Aladdin
Yo,
jokes
yo,
with
nah,
the vest.
Yo,
I used to wear it on
listen.
Fridays, and the jokes
Yes.
were jokes were there.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all. So you said we were on Friday. Like the rest of the week, was you wearing like Lee jeans, or was you like Aladdin out the whole week, or was it just Friday?
I mean, from my memory, I was Aladdin out.
Yeah, I
every
think
day.
so, yo.
I don't think I owned a pair of Lee jeans
Yeah.
to this day. You know, better yet back then. But yeah, I mean, my mom made our clothes. You know, we
Word.
come from humble beginnings.
No, seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
it was 6 of us. So I mean, not at that time, but it was about 5 of us at the time. So
Yeah.
you know, we were either wearing hand-me-downs from the masjid, or we were, you know, my mom was stitching
Sewing.
up
Yeah.
clothes for us. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't say I experienced that at that early age because obviously I was homeschooled. You know what I'm saying? So everything was pretty much in house. The only experience that I had was like in the neighborhood, you know, because I had the basketball hoop in the yard. So all the kids from the neighborhood would come play ball, and they would always be like, "Yo, why, you don't go to school?" Da, da, da. And I would just kind of explain I was in homeschool and I got taught at home. You know, I just thought it was normal because I come see y'all at the master, but I didn't know y'all was getting monkey in the middle, man. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, your neighbor's probably like, "Yo, is this kid a kindergarten dropout?"
I know, right?
Why is he shooting hoops at 9 a.m. in the morning?
Yo, dude, you was in the hood too. They probably like, yo, they probably selling drugs.
Nah, they knew, man. Because you gotta remember at that time, like that was like a lot of stuff going on in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
So all of
exactly.
y'all parents, and a lot of the other Muslim brothers in the community was active in that neighborhood as stuff was happening. So they knew he was Muslim. So that was
That's
that was
true,
one
that's
cool thing. Like nobody really messed with our household like that because they just knew like that's Rashid. Like Muslims, he got cameras, his car talks. Like, don't mess with him. You know what I'm saying? So we was, I was fortunate in that, man. And again, like I would see y'all at the masses, so it was just, this is what we do. This is how we dress. You know what I'm saying? I did have Lee jeans, but every once in a while, you catch me in the baggy suit as well.
I definitely don't remember any jeans.
Yeah, I agree.
yo.
I agree.
At all, man.
Like, at what point? Like, was it like middle school? Or
No,
because by that time I was in you was getting homeschooled, right?
Yeah.
Middle school was homeschool.
What was that transition like?
Well, Yusuf had a hard time with it.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated homeschool.
He was
hated
defiant
homeschool.
that
I
I would
hated
do.
it.
Yeah.
Naeem was cool about it. It was
Yeah.
cool.
I love
He's
it.
like, I gotta keep my kufi on. Man.
Right.
I didn't really like going to school like that,
Yo,
so
I
it was
hated school,
perfect.
man.
Yeah, Muhammad didn't like school, so
Yeah,
me
it
and
was
Muhammad
perfect,
were
yo.
like, yes,
You
we
get to stay
homeschool.
home?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta go out. That was perfect for me. But Yusuf, his main thing was he had a lot of friends, so he was like, I want to be with my friends, and he wanted to be social, and which that is a big part of it. You do lose the social part of it,
Right.
being homeschooled. Because I'll be honest, the transition back to school was extremely difficult.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult to go from homeschool back to high school. We didn't know what to do. You know, so
I definitely felt lost, yo.
yeah.
What was that? What was that first day back like?
It was nerve-wracking, man. It was like it was to the point where you go from being homeschooled to being around your siblings or being around a couple Muslims, and then you go to high school, because that's where I went from homeschool to high school.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a shock. I mean, as soon as you get in there, you're like,
Culture shock.
and then you see like everybody dressed a certain way, and me and we wore our kufis, so you know what I mean. But I will say this, so we became the popular kids because we were like the
knew
new
who
kids,
y'all were.
like all right. And the thing was like, listen, they knew we were African American. But at the same time, we were just different from everybody, So a lot of people gravitated to us, and plus we played ball, so a lot of the people that we knew from playing ball, that were in our school. So But it was definitely it was tough, man.
Bruh,
you know?
like I personally remember that first day in high school, like, and so like, and kind of a little bit around what you said around playing sports. I played sports as a kid, so I played Part1 football, and you know, I knew people in the community, so I had a couple people that were in the high school that I played football with. But bro, that first day, like think about this. My whole life up until 13 years old, like I'm eating breakfast while doing schoolwork. Right? That's my schedule. Like I'm waking up, knocking out schoolwork. My dad, before he go to work, he hit me with algebra problems.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Playing a little chess. Then I'm going to run some bills with my mom. I'm learning. As I became in sales, I'm learning how to talk to adults at a young age. Like, why are you not in school? You know, I'm chatting with them or whatever, running in, paying bills and stuff. To like 13 years old, I'm now at a bus stop. And I'm walking into school with my kufi on. There's a bunch of kids.
Culture shock.
Oh, and there's girls too.
That was the biggest thing, yo.
Exactly. The biggest challenge was the girls, to be honest. Because you know, you like you said, if you played sports, you knew some of the guys. Yeah. But then when you walked past a girl in the hallway, you were terrified.
Well, so before we even dig into that, let's talk about why. Right?
Like, we can talk about why.
Because in Islam, you know, we're taught to like lower our gaze as Muslims, right? And we grew up, you know, all of us are first generation born Muslims, right? So our parents came from like, you know, being Christian or, you know, being in whatever America. They were in America, right? Yeah, like in America. And there was, you know, in the Western society, you know, whatever, you talk to girls, right? Like, but Islam kind of teaches you not to do that. You know, you don't touch a female's hand unless that's somebody you about to, you know, somebody you're married to or whatever, or as a family member. So we've had that kind of instilled in us, and I think almost a little extreme to the point like
definitely extreme,
exactly. When we're in the masjid, if you know the brother's side is over here, the sister's side is kind of closed off with a curtain. Like if you go to go say something to your mom, you might get hit with a ruler. No, right?
Or they slamming that sheet ASAP. Yeah, that's all you used to hear.
What are you looking at?
Man. So again, like that's what we knew pretty much our whole life is like
until teenage years,
exactly. Like and we're human, we're boys. We're always curious. So we always try to go talk to the girls in the masjid, and they will always try to talk to us.
Yep.
Until like one of the sisters come in and like, get out of here, scream.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all got any memories of that, like just when we was young in the masjid, like getting the crowd broken up, right? We be sitting there talking and the girls going back and forth, and then sisters come over there and like kind of break it all up.
I mean, why? I mean, I always just get in trouble because I was always trying to. Yeah, I was definitely
not even a rebel, just a kid having fun.
Curious,
I was curious, man. I just remember like, you know, so many times where they're like, what are you doing? Oh, in certain areas I was supposed to be at. And then like even like after like Salah and we pray, you know, we go outside and we try to take catch peeks at the sisters like upstairs.
Yeah.
Remember in George Street, you kind of
catch them ankles coming down the steps. Like, yo, I seen them ankles. Ooh, look at them toes.
What sister is that right there? You didn't really know till she came down, but now you know it was.
I know those ankles anywhere.
But I will say it did kind of like when you made that transition from like homeschool to like high school. I mean, I remember the first time a girl came up to me to give me a hug, yo, I froze like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, stay away. Give her elbow. Yo, I was waiting for a sister to come out of the curtains, like, what you doing? It was crazy, man.
For sure. But now going back to what Fareed said, like it was like literally ingrained in us, like to lower your gaze and respect women. Which you know, is pros and cons to that because we, you know, it could be a little socially awkward if your teacher's talking to you and you got your head down. Did you finish your math work? You can't make eye contact with the teacher. I'm sorry, I didn't finish it.
That's almost like a cartoon, right? Like the girl comes and you like, you know, go all crazy. Like same thing, man. I remember on the bus one time coming home, and I just wasn't expecting. The girl just sat on my lap, yo. I was just sitting there like, I'm pretty sure I started sweating, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't know what to do, yo. You know, but again, like that's just part of like that. You know, that transition to like going into high school and being around people. We just weren't around other people that didn't have the same, you know, mindset as us. Being Muslim.
Yeah,
definitely. You know,
now in retrospect, it shows you the importance of like child development because those things were ingrained in us at a very, very, very young age, and we carried that on to like probably like my late teens, to be honest. So like my late teens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I even remember like being in college and like I see the MSAs, the Muslim, you know, Student Association, and I'm like, why are the sisters and the girls literally sitting next to each other? It was weird to me.
Yeah, exactly. We never
Like,
experienced that. Yeah.
I just couldn't understand it because my whole life was like, yo, every time we try to talk to a girl, we get literally chased out with a stick.
Yeah, I know, man.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, same for me. When I in school, the first interactions were just extremely awkward.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what to do. I froze just like him, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, over time you got used to it, but you never felt comfortable.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
I always felt like I had to lower my gaze. I had to, you know, be standoffish, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do think that women did appreciate us though because we were very respectful.
Yeah,
and that's
for
an
sure.
aspect that was different about us. That was like, oh, this guy's respectful. Like he's not rude. He's not trying to hit on us or anything like that. I didn't even know how to hit on a woman, so I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So I think for me, it gave us a different like aspect of a man. Like, oh, there's men that are actually respectful. Right? There's men that aren't looking to just do, you know, something disrespectful to me, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it gave us, you know, a different look as a man, you know, or at that time, you know, the young man being in a high school or, you know, middle school and you know, given that different aspect of yourself, you know. So
Yeah, but back then though, like it was kind of like a win though, because like if you didn't give women attention back then, they wanted you more. So it's kind of weird. It's the complete opposite nowadays. It's the complete opposite. Everything is attention driven now.
Right,
But back then, if a guy gave a girl a lot of attention, she didn't want him. She wanted the awkward guy like us in the corner doing his work with his kufi on.
Exactly.
He's not paying me any attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm telling you, I have stories when I first went to high school where I just had girls literally all in, like surrounding my desk, yo. I swear to you, you can see the sweat pouring down my head. Yo, they didn't even say nothing, yo. They were just kind of like, it was like, yo, I was like in a fish.
Like in a museum.
Like, yeah, like I was in a fish tank, and they were just looking at the fish, like tapping the bowl, yo. Like, and I was just looking at like,
Look at him. He doesn't acknowledge us.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
And I didn't. I was just like, I would look up every few minutes and, like, and just look down there. Yo, I had no clue what to do, man.
Yeah, I think to be real, if we weren't homeschooled, I think we would have been able to
I agree.
transition going from middle school
I agree.
to high school.
100%,
I would have been
bro.
able to adjust.
100%.
But the fact that we went from homeschool and just kind of got like dropped off in school, and to be honest, when we transitioned, we didn't actually even start at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It was kind of like maybe October, November. It's like, are you going back to public school? And I'm like,
Were you a
it was a
freshman or, like,
last minute.
sophomore?
I was a junior.
It was a
actually.
junior,
Yeah.
because I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
So there was like a split
That's
time
late.
decision. It was like, yo,
yeah.
My parents were like, all right, you guys going to school tomorrow? I'm like, what? Go to public school?
All right, so before we even go even that, so why did that happen? Because I have an idea like
Why we went to
of
homeschool?
why like why they decided boom y'all need to go to high school.
Yo, I
was y'all not
can't-
learning nothing at home?
No, I mean, I think let's just be real.
I didn't learn from the age of 8 till 13. Be real.
No, I mean, I was old enough
I
to
learned life
actually
skills,
teach
man.
myself some stuff. But if you were younger, you know, you probably weren't learning much. And we knew that at that point. We were like, all right, we could get a better education by going back to public school. You know, I think my dad felt comfortable with us too. Like, all right, I think they're good enough to be on their own and make their own wise decisions. Yeah. So it was like, I think we were able
Little did he know.
yeah, you know, he made some deals with us. You know, you can't go to prom, you can't do these things. So, you know, these are some things that we did have to sacrifice if we did go back to school. But I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. You know, but because I did want to be around my friends. I did want to be around my peers. I did want to go to college. So I was like, I got to get adjusted before I get to college. You know, I don't want to just jump into a college. That's totally different. You know, so
Yeah, but let's double back on why do you think we went to homeschool? I never really asked my dad
Well, I mean,
to this day
I
why
can
we
tell
went to
you-
homeschool.
I mean, the reason why that I went to homeschool, and I think Naeem was because we were in Hamden, right?
Right.
So we went from, what was it? I want to say second or third grade to sixth grade, and at that time, Hamden High was probably one of the worst middle school. Not Hamden.
Oh,
High,
Hamden Middle. Hamden Middle,
was
yeah,
probably
right.
one of
Yeah,
the worst
right. It
middle
was really
schools
bad.
in
Yeah, that's
Connecticut.
true.
It
That's true.
was horrible, yo. And my dad was like, "No, there's no way." Because remember, my dad brought us from New Haven.
Right.
He took us out of New Haven public schools because
avoid
it was so
Fairhaven,
bad to go to Hamden.
I
which
didn't
was
know that
great.
Hamden was that bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
but
Fairhaven
because
Middle was really bad.
Hamden
that
Middle
was
was
the only bad school in Hamden. to be
But
honest.
Hamden Middle, remember, Hamden Middle was on the border
So
of
it was
New
like-
Haven.
it was pretty much New Haven.
So everybody
Yeah,
who,
it's
so
kinda
Yeah, a lot of
everybody,
people started to move.
so everybody who wasn't from Hamden was using their parent, their aunt's address, and they were
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
Hamden High. So they had, I mean, yo,
So they set on
school
the
was
hoodlums
crazy.
to Hamden Middle.
I mean, it was all types of violence. They had metal detectors.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the early '90s,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
or late '90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think I still think a part of it was protecting us.
I agree.
With girls too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at middle schools, that's when you start exploring. Start talking to girls.
Yeah, that had.
So I think that was the bigger factor. I mean, we went to the master where it was in the hood, so we wasn't really worried about being around people like that. It was really mainly about.
Too, yo.
100%.
But at the same time, I don't want you talking to no girls.
The whole thing with our
time,
parents is they ain't want nobody. They ain't want you coming home with no kids.
Oh yeah,
right, exactly.
My dad told me he would kill me if I had a kid. He told me that. I think I was like 12.
And I took that personally.
He said, "Well, if you ever get a girl pregnant, I'm gonna kill you."
Yo, I'll be honest, bro, we were terrified.
It worked, yo.
I was terrified.
100%. It worked. It worked. That was like
what
they call scared therapy. I don't know what that was. I just remember at a time because I was homeschooled. Everybody's coming to my yard. It was at one point. My parents like, all right, yeah, if it's a female, she can't come back here no more.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That was it. It was just only boys allowed. It's like, damn, we can't go back there and play ball no more. I'm like, whatever.
I remember that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because every time you ever come over, there was no girls over there. You know what I'm saying? And like that was
a certain age, yeah.
I was pretty young though. I'm pretty sure I was like 7 or like 6 or 7. Wow, like no more.
I didn't realize it was that.
That's a bit extreme. That's a bit
I thought it was like 12, 13.
Exactly. Oh no. By that time, yeah, it was. It was no point. Yeah, 12 or 13. You already trying to explore. You becoming a young man. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
Did you ever ask your parents why you got homeschooled though?
Well, they told me like the neighborhood was pretty. It was New Haven in the '80s, man. There was a lot going on, a lot of. It was a crack era. You know what I'm saying? So, the school's similar to what you were talking about. Metal detectors and Roberto Clemente was right there. Because I used to go play ball at some of those spots. And you play ball over there, you see all the paraphernalia on the ground. Deals happening right there on the court. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't want me going to that school. Plus, they also believed that I would get a better education at home, which I think I did. Just because if you look at most schools in the inner city neighborhoods, they don't really...
Right.
They don't really care.
Oh,
they don't really care, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like I was learning algebra at middle school. I was always way above my whatever grade I was supposed to be, and I would always test. My mom would have maybe you'll take the standardized test, and I was always way above it. So,
we probably should have went to your homeschool.
You should have went to homeschool at your home.
I mean, 1,000. Yeah, my mom. 1,000 duas, and my mom, like she's the best because I don't know how she dealt with me. You know what I'm saying? Like takes a lot of patience. Like, I can remember being a kid, like
wow, boy.
CAT, crying. Like I can remember that stuff. Yeah, I can imagine the stress that it puts on a parent. But she stuck it out and like all the way to high school. Like my mom is the reason why I was able to go to college. When I got to high school, I didn't really learn much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of teachers there that were like, okay, yeah, they gave me some real skills. But high school was a breeze. I had high honors throughout high school. I did my homework on the bus. Like it was not a challenge at all. It was really just for the social aspect. Learning how to just deal with kids from not being in school for however long. Playing sports, joining different clubs and stuff like that. I can even remember like when the high school I went to, it wasn't really a college type of high school. It was a regional vocational technical school. Technical trade. So when I got accepted at UConn, they announced it on a loudspeaker like it was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So like I attribute all that success. We got one. I attribute all that success to my mom and my pop. So if you ever watch this, thank you 1,000 times. I can't repay you for that.
Yeah. But our homeschool experience was a little different.
It was more of a curriculum,
it was more of you better do this right now.
Well, let's touch on that. The network, the homeschool network.
Hold on, let's talk about our experiences homeschooling with our mom, because it's different when you're in a public school and the teachers legally can't hit you. When your mom's your teacher, she might get upset. She's cooking dinner, she got the spatula, on your math book, and you mess up, you might get bopped in the hand or the head.
I had a lot of tomato sauce on all of my books.
Exactly.
And it was different. It was a lot of us, so it was
exactly.
I don't know how she did it.
Exactly.
We were young boys. We were. I wouldn't say we were hyper, but we wasn't trying to sit down and do work.
I was not listening. I was not listening. I thought I could get over, to be honest. and we didn't really get over. My mom didn't play.
Nah, she made sure we did our work.
She put us in check,
Yeah.
you know. But it was for us. It was a totally different experience. You know, like I said, my dad had an idea of what he wanted to be done, but didn't have a structure.
Right.
He was just like, all right, go buy some books from Barnes and Noble, you know, whatever at that time, wherever you get it from the library and teach them, you know. But you followed the whole curriculum and everything, so that was totally different, you know. You had structure, so
no, she definitely had. She definitely followed some sort of curriculum and like knew okay, this is what he has to learn in order to be able to pass these standardized tests, but
I'd rather go to public school, you know, just to be honest, because I knew I was learning the right things, you know. With like you said, no disrespect to anybody who wasn't qualified, but some people were standing in front of me, and I was like, I know more about the subject than you. You know, so the intentions were good. And I said, anything we talk about, the intentions were always good. They always had the right ideas. They always wanted the best for us. It just didn't always work out that way.
I mean, and that's how honestly, that's the best way to look at it, man. Like, we're human, none of us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like that the whole community and like our parents and they all found Islam through like, coming from wherever they came from, and they saw this beautiful way of life, and again, they just tried to like put as much of that onto us because they knew what was out there in the world that we didn't understand.
They were definitely trying to shelter us and protect us.
Right. Oh, for sure. It was good intentions.
Yo, if you think about it, we grew up in the middle of in the crack area. It was insane at that time.
It was, absolutely.
So I do feel like they were trying to do anything and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
One being Muslim on top of it and learn a new religion, and them just trying to protect us as young men, you know what I mean, or young boys, like trying to protect us, in all aspects. So.
I think the other thing too, you got to realize they weren't Muslim. They weren't when they were kids. They weren't Muslim.
So
they didn't understand what we were going through. They didn't relate. They were looking at it like, as from the outside, like, it's fine. Go to school.
Yeah, go to school.
Wear those baggies to school. I'm like, bro, do you understand when I walk through this door, what I'm about to go through? You know.
Exactly.
But they didn't understand that. They saw it as a good thing. Like,
I think they understand it. They didn't prioritize it, right? Because you think about it as a parent or like as an elder, like you're thinking about it in your perspective. Right, this was best for them. As a kid, whatever you're dealing with at that time is the biggest thing going on right there. Like that's huge, right? Like, and so they're like, yeah, you could tough it out. Like, bro, this is mentally draining. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm about to walk in here in front of my crush wearing some crazy outfit. No chance. You know what I'm saying?
I think one thing we could touch on a little bit too is the the holidays. I don't know. Holidays were huge, man. Like for me, my first experience not being able to celebrate, the holidays, I didn't understand. My first holiday was, I think at the beginning of the year, is Halloween. Right. So, when I went to school, everybody's eating candy and stuff, and my dad's like, yo, don't eat no candy. And I'm like, what? So
I wasn't eating candy anyway. Halloween or not. Give me a fruit
that got red dye. You can't eat.
You was definitely not eating no candy, yo.
Anything that wasn't natural sugar, you couldn't eat.
Speaking, I just came from Edge of the Woods, man.
But that was, my first experience was Halloween. That was the first holiday of the year. And I was all excited. Everybody talking about, bringing trash bags of candy and stuff like that. Because, they had already done that. And my dad was like, yo, listen, when you get there, you can't celebrate any of the parties. You can't wear any costume. And I didn't understand it, because I knew it was against the religion, but I didn't know, like, you couldn't conform, to what was going on. Listen,
I also think a lot of it came down to, sometimes, they might have tried to explain it, but they didn't. We come from that era of like our parents didn't like have those conversations. Right. It was like, do it. I'm your parent. You just do it. I brought you in this world. I can take you out type mentality. Which
there was that
works to us, but it was no like conversation so that you could truly understand it.
Right.
And honestly, even if they did, like it's still gonna be tough, right? Because you're a kid. Like at that age, probably like 12, 13, you're heavily influenced by your peers. Right. So like you start to like when you get to school, you gotta kind of like, okay, I know this is what I'm supposed to do, but like I'm in school, man. I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to be cool, So that's something that I think we all battle with to a certain extent.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had any problems with holidays, yo. Like, it never really bothered me.
I would agree.
I never really cared.
As I got older, it did, but like elementary school, it didn't.
It didn't bother me at all. I'm not gonna lie.
Birthdays would phase me a little bit.
Birthday parties. I definitely wanted to do birthday parties because that was like your whole class, and like you got invited, and you were like, oh, I want to go, and it was like, you're not going.
I think by the time we got to Hamden, my dad would make us like actually leave the party.
Yeah,
it'd be tough. I'm like, we going to the library.
We had to go to the library.
Everybody having a party with cake and ice cream.
So everybody knew. It was
I like
like
cake. I like ice
that's a
cream.
cupcake for me now. So it was like, so it was for me.
That was tough. That was
it was
tough.
the
It wasn't
removal part of it. Like, dang, and I didn't really.
And just to be clear, like I don't think it's haram to celebrate birthdays.
Yo, honestly, I
don't think it's halal.
I was thinking about it.
It's not something that it's not something that's promoted in Islam. We're gonna have to have somebody that could talk about it.
Somebody
But
comment
I've
on
heard
this.
different people say like it's not something that's
Acknowledge
promoted in
that
Islam,
someone-
but it's
celebrating
not
life,
something.
yo, right?
But it's not something that's like haram. Like
It's not
celebrating
any-
Christmas is haram because it's a pagan holiday, right? Like certain things are established that you just don't do as a Muslim. But and birthdays aren't really. From what I've heard,
Right.
Somebody
That's why I think a lot of
way more
us
knowledgeable
celebrate
than me can talk
Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is really not like.
It's not attached to like a religion.
Exactly.
And that's like
It's just
we always celebrated
get with your family,
Thanksgiving,
eat food,
yeah,
and
get
stuff like
together,
that.
yeah.
So Thanksgiving we always participated in. So that was at least one holiday I could be a part of. We did something at school for Thanksgiving. It was never like I was never excluded from that.
Right.
But Christmas was the big one. Obviously because
Christmas
everybody
was big.
got their big gifts. And we weren't gonna be a part of that.
Yeah.
But I felt like during that time, like Eid was like around the same time as Christmas growing up.
Yeah, it was.
Remember?
Yeah, it was.
It kinda worked
Eid
out
was
for us.
always
Yeah,
in the
it worked out,
winter, so
yeah.
like Eid growing up was a big deal. Like my parents like would buy us a lot of gifts.
They did, they did,
We would
absolutely.
really celebrate. So I felt like as a kid, I didn't really miss.
I didn't miss Christmas.
Yeah, it was
at all.
kind of a
Christmas at
wash.
all.
Yeah, it was kind of a wash.
I mean, I wasn't in school during time, so I can't even relate to that. It wasn't once I was in high school, I was already grown enough to not even care. Like it was already ingrained. But but Eid though, man, like that was the best. Those are the best of times as a kid. I always remember like Eid time, getting to see everybody, the gifts and like party. We go bowling or something like that or movies, man. That was always a fun time, man.
I think the biggest parallel nowadays compared to then, like people know what it is now.
Yeah.
It's a celebrated holiday at school. Kids
and
know about
Ramadan
it.
and Eid,
if someone is Muslim in their class, they could wish them a happy Eid and stuff like that. Nobody knew about our holiday.
Yeah. And they didn't talk about it.
Right,
Yeah,
they didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nobody acknowledged it. We just knew we'd be out. Where were you at for a couple of days? Oh, it was my holiday and stuff like that. And I'm be honest, nobody really cared either. So
a lot of schools are actually acknowledging Eid now, which is great.
It's
really
a big
good.
deal now.
Like my son be telling me they talk about it. They had somebody come in and talk about it and Ramadan and all that. I'm like, back then I had to explain. Like, I'm not eating, dog. Like,
exactly. Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like
30 days?
Dry mouth. Yo, cotton mouth is
cotton
cool. Bro, that was brutal.
what's
man.
funny is they
need some water. I can't have it until 4 o'clock.
The funny thing is, right? People used to think you're not going to eat for 30 days, and I have to explain every time. Like
every time, it's like, how do you live?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
come on, man.
yes, I can eat, but I just can't eat from sunrise to sunset. That's it. They were like, but you can't eat for 30 days, though. I'm like, never mind.
When we were in school, it was a
Forget
long day because you would get up for sahur, maybe sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, get ready for school. When I got out of school, I went straight to bed every day.
I used to take a nap soon as I got home.
And just to clarify, for anybody that's not Muslim maybe watching this, like sahur is the meal that you would eat before the sun comes up, which is before the first prayer, which is Fajr. So you have a meal before the sun comes up, and then you can break your fast, which is called iftar, after the sun goes down. I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
But but let's talk about sahur real quick, man. Because you had to get up early, but like you had a nice little spread.
Yeah.
Nah, for
Well,
sure.
especially if you went to the masjid. Then
you went to the masjid,
we were talking about it. It was an event. At 5 o'clock in the morning.
I know. Just think
you
about
don't know
that,
who was going to show up.
That's so true. Looking back,
You had no idea who was going to be there. It was just totally different, man. People like you said, sometimes that was somewhere for somebody to stay for that month. So you don't know who was sleeping there that night.
Yeah. And we're gonna have a whole touch on Ramadan. As Ramadan's coming up, we're gonna have a whole episode on Ramadan, but that we need to go into that on its own by itself because we'll be talking here for hours.
Yeah,
around.
And that was as a kid, in school, like I said, sahur was a part of your daily routine. So like you said, by the time you went to school, by 12 o'clock, I was exusted. I was like, I've been up since 4:35.
No energy.
No energy. I didn't eat all day.
Blood sugar's running low.
And it's lunchtime. Everybody eating lunch. So it was. I had to go to either the library or something like that. Because if I went to the caf, it was brutal. You sit in the cafeteria, everybody eating food, and that just made you even more hungrier. So. That was a challenge.
Everything
but,
smells good.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Lunch
Is that a Granny Smith apple?
Horrible, yo.
Smells
lunch
delicious.
was horrible, but it smelled good.
Well, question for y'all:
Sloppy
did
Joes.
anyone cheat on Ramadan growing up in elementary school? Sneak some Dunkaroos or some fruit roll-ups.
Yo, listen.
Anybody
I've never,
cheat?
Yo, listen.
I did one time.
I did as well.
I did one time on a holiday.
We're having a pizza party, man. I couldn't resist, man. I couldn't resist. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everyone in the class, you said you're not gonna eat. It's so good. Just give me a damn slice, please.
I'll make it up.
But I feel you feel so guilty though.
Yeah.
I was fasting today. Oh, it was good. Knowing you're full it's a terrible feeling.
Still tasting the marinara
Yeah,
sauce.
you had to go look in the mirror before you left school, make sure there wasn't no chocolate on my face or anything like that. Because I had a cupcake. It was I made it to the worst part is I made it to the end. They had pizza, everything, candy.
That was a
And
straw.
She put a cupcake on my desk. I said, I can't do it.
It's like in a movie in slow motion. It's like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so she put it on there. That cupcake looked so good. I said, I can't do it. I tore that cupcake up. And like I said, when I left school, I had to look in the mirror to make sure I had no icing or nothing on my face. I had to wipe my face
I know
down.
that stare that had to
And like
be
you
crazy,
said,
yo.
that day is the day your dad, comes to you, man. I'm so proud of you fasting.
Yeah,
that right?
Cake residue on the side of your mouth.
at that point, you might
Wrap
as
on
well
my
eat the
back
whole
pocket. Oh
meal.
my God.
Yeah, it is you're definitely right, yo, because he would definitely come up to you that day. He's like, you know what? I'm so proud of you guys. Yo. I know how
I know it's
hard it
been
is.
tough.
No, it's been tough.
Right.
Yo. All you can think about is that chocolate cupcake.
Like,
Wait, well, I gotta ask you: did you just a cupcake, or did you chase it with milk? Because I know you didn't fast the whole day, eat a cupcake,
I
and have a
ate the
dry
cupcake.
mouth.
I had a dry mouth. I didn't come after that. I didn't drink nothing.
You know
I
you
just
get no
ate the
you know you
cupcake.
get no points for
It was-
only
it
eating the
was-
cupcake.
it
You
was
might have
like-
had the milk
It was
too.
literally
No
the
glass
last
of milk.
thing.
Yeah,
If I had made it past the cupcake, I would have been good. It was the last thing that they had. Yo.
That's too
I
funny.
just couldn't hold it in no more. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm pretty
And that's
sure
the only
I
time I
cheated.
ever
I
did it.
don't remember,
Every time else,
Yeah.
I fasted with no problem, man.
The guilt weighs on you though, man. It
Yeah,
weighs on you.
I mean, I think we've all done that. So I never done it at school. I never felt the need to at school. But like, yeah, I'm sure we've all done that at some point.
I mean, I've definitely done it at home, man. And sometimes you don't even remember. You don't
Oh,
even.
yeah,
you forget.
Like
you
even
forget,
now,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes you're fasting, yo, and you go to the fridge,
Yeah,
yo,
your first
open
week,
up,
your
and then
first
you're
week
like,
is definitely possible.
and, it's as long as it's not in your mind, yo, then
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
try to
And just,
fake it, right?
just to give clarity, if you forget that you're fasting and you eat, it doesn't break your fast.
doesn't break your fast, yeah.
But you can't.
But you can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Because obviously, God knows if you knew you was getting that snack, or if you totally forgot.
I'm gonna tell everybody that I forgot I'm
Yeah.
fasting.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I do remember is that like my parents never stood for the national anthem.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so like that was ingrained. And we don't and nothing not to disrespect America or anything. It's just that we only pledge allegiance to Allah, God, right? So every time if it's like the Pledge of Allegiance in the beginning of the class or beginning of the school day, or if we had an event and it's like, they're singing the national anthem, I'd be the only one sitting down. Yeah. And I did that the whole time. And honestly, I never really got much flack for it. Did y'all deal with any of that?
Did I get flack? Absolutely, I got flack. I had teachers literally tell me, Yusuf, get up. I mean, because let's just be honest. I mean, there's a lot of people who are very patriotic, and people take off their hat. They put
You was
their
in
hat-
Hamden, too.
They put their hat around. They put their hat on their heart, and they really, they really pledge allegiance to the flag. But personally, as I got older, I always stood up for the flag. When I was younger, my parents said, do not stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
They never really explained, as a kid, why you're not standing
Yeah.
up. But they said, we only pledge allegiance to Allah, so do not stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. But I caught some flack, but then my dad had to talk to the teacher and send some notes in, and after that, I was fine. But the first,
So you got slack from the teacher, not from those students. It was just like the
I mean, of course, kids are looking at me. I mean, it's very awkward when
Yeah, you're the
30
only
kids
one.
in your room standing up, and you're the only person sitting down. With the kufi on. I got a Aladdin vest and MC Hammer pants. It gets very awkward.
Yeah. I think for me, it was just like, not another thing, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it
you
was
already
a
got me
lot,
with a
man.
vest, like the Aladdin vest or the kufi, or, my shoes are pointed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting slaughtered at this point. And then he said, you can't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Yo, that was like, that was like,
I'm done.
I remember, like, my first day in
Another
school
one.
when he told me that the first time I couldn't ever do it, yo, my knees were shaking. Yo, literally. It's like, all right, step for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm like, I'm terrified. I'm like,
very awkward.
Yo, my legs were shaking so bad because I'm like, I'm the only one that's going to get up. And everybody's looking at me. Everybody's staring at me.
Everybody
The
stood
teacher's
up.
like,
Yeah.
Naeem, get up. And I'm just like, no.
Honestly,